Okay, what is with that blanket?
Oh, it's my Securian blanket. It's an unsubtle metaphor for the feeling of security and confidence I have knowing I'm prepared for the future with insurance and retirement solutions from Securian Financial.
Learn more at securian.com.
Well, we are ready now for our segment with Securian Financial, and joining me in studio is Ann Hagerty, Director of Advanced Sales. Welcome.
Thank you, Chuck. I'm glad to be here.
We are glad you're here, and I really telling the audience too that the article that Allison Salko wrote in the March-April edition was excellent. I read it thoroughly, had some questions for you. You know, it talked about how lived experience for women is more important than the numbers, net worth, the values, the different products that you use. How do you advise, or how do you help advisors with the phrases and behaviors that they promote when they're talking to those clients so that they're truly ready for a deeper estate planning conversation?
Such an important question, because I don't think people wake up in the morning and say, I'm 50 years old, I have $1 million, I need to do something with my estate plan.
Right.
Often it's through some type of experience with a parent or loved one, and they decide, hey, I don't want this to happen to my family, right? So that's an important key conversation that a financial professional might hear. And what they really want is peace, right? What they really want is that peace of mind. And so you want to listen for cues like, everyone relies on me for everything, maybe even in their extended family, right? You're the decision maker, you're sort of the person that everyone is going to go to and ask these questions of. And so as you realize that as a female, right, then you need that help to put those phrases into action and make it mean something for that experience.
I love how you talk about peace of mind, because that's so important.
Right.
There is a confidence gap for women around this subject with things like estate planning and inheritance. So obviously it's a knowledge gap and a confidence gap. What are the ways that the advisor can take on to kind of reduce that anxiety? And what are some things that they might be well intended that they shouldn't say? What are those messages like?
Yeah, I think it's just, instead of thinking about the person that you're working with as mastering estate planning and really having a deep understanding, it's just orientation, right? So it's thinking about what things that client is thinking about. So say I say to you, Chuck, who would you choose to take care of your children if something happened to you? Who would you choose to handle your finances if something happened to you? Who would you trust to make a medical decision for you, right? Those are easier questions to understand from an estate planning perspective. Even the word estate is kind of challenging, right? It sounds big, it sounds really important, but really it's just your wishes in document form. And I think that's really important. So as you think about the important role that you play in your family, it's important to think about putting that into words, putting that into a document so that your loved ones know what your wishes are. And I think that's also a gift, right? It's a gift to your family because they don't have to wonder, what would mom have wanted? What would she have thought in this scenario? You're really looking to think about what is meaningful for her.
But at some point you do want to introduce the tools, right? And you want to be very keen on the legal and the estate planning and other kind of requirements. So how do you introduce those tools in the conversation? Yep.
So you're really kind of focusing on what decisions matter most right now. So maybe you have sort of now decisions and maybe later decisions. What could we decide now that would impact you? Kind of where are you at in your life today? And then bring in those technical concepts. Okay, you said that your brother is the person you would trust with finances. This is what a power of attorney does. This is exactly how it works. If Bill is a power of attorney, then he's going to be able to do these things for you. Go to your bank and handle your finances. It could be if you are incapacitated, you could also be in jail in Mexico, right? So it could be a lot of different reasons why you might need this power of attorney, but the important part is explaining that it is technical in nature, but it can be explained in layman's terms. Really, all it is paperwork, and women are pretty good at paperwork for the most part, right? And so it's really important to bring that conversation forth and try to make it simplified, right? It's just putting your wishes into a document. It might have a complicated name, but really understanding the technical aspect is important for the financial professional, but they have to kind of bring it to meet the person at their experience, kind of where they're at.
And it really helps that if you do get to know them and you have those kind of deeper personal conversations, get them ready, and then when you introduce it, they're more receptive because you've already kind of addressed that. I want to ask you one more question that's really important because there was I think Allison called it out, and I've read it before. It's a NAFA statistic,
Yep.
National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, that 70% of women change the financial professional after the death of their spouse.
Yep.
Which just amazed me, and I really wanted it to be a subject that the financial advisors pay attention to. How do you make sure that you have that longevity, that it's not a temporary relationship, that it's actually
Yep.
a more permanent relationship?
Yep. I think that trust is so important, really, as a financial professional, listening and bringing that female counterpart into the conversation, right? A lot of relationships are built on the golf course or, in business relationships, and often there might be someone in the family that's a decision maker that is female that's not brought into those conversations. And I think it's important to go the extra mile, really build the trust with the female counterpart as part of that couple or individual, because that might be the person you end up working with. And this happened in my own family. So my grandparents owned a family farm, and my grandmother had a myriad of health issues. So she had several strokes, cancer, open heart surgery at age 40. So I think my grandfather probably thought that she would pass before him. He handled all the financial and estate plan, and he ended up in a horse accident and passed away, unexpectedly. Still lived to an older age, but then she was left with a complex estate plan that she didn't really agree to, and she admitted that wouldn't have been the estate plan that she would have put in place, because what it did is it disinherited some family members, it caused turmoil with relationships, and oftentimes having both people have a voice can not only address maybe financial concerns, but also address concerns like family harmony. I want my kids to get along. I want them to be able to sit at the dinner table together. And for a lot of people, that's very important. So having both voices come in is important for that trust. And to say to your children, hey, I have a financial professional, Chuck, he's going to help you out, right? He's going to be there for you if something happens to me. That's really powerful to bring your family along, and for that financial professional to open up their doors to the family and be someone that I can say, I know you got me. I know you got my kids.
And this is such a great subject. I really wanted to thank you and really thank Allison, who wrote the article. I wanted to encourage everybody to look at it in the March-April edition of Aspire. It's the Allison Salka interview or article, and it's about women in estate planning.
Yep.
And just hearing you talk today just gave such a good overview and really additional information that was really helpful for us to hear. So thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Good. We'll have you back too.
Awesome. I'm excited.
You can find Allison's article on page 16 of the March-April edition of Aspire magazine. Link in the description.